But when you're not laying cash on the table, you're never getting left holding the bag. And that's what's important about our strategy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the VIP channel. It's your cash flow coach, Matthew Pillmore here. Got a really special episode today. As you can see, we've got a guest here in the so-called studio. We're gonna be talking about a really incredible investment opportunity. I've been saying it now for a number of months, talking about skepticism surrounding the real estate market right now. I know so many of you guys are anxious to just dive in, right? You're seeing some success that's out there and you're saying to yourself, man, I want to be a part of that. And I get it. I'm really anxious right now myself. And you know, I just circled back and was thinking for a while now that we needed to have Michael here on the program with us. And Michael is a friend of mine now for the last couple of years. We originally met each other through I almost said a reality show, which it was.
It was basically a reality show.
It's called Realty 411.
Right.
They should have been 911. Long story short, there was a kind of a crew of us that were really traveling the country and teaching classes. And there were a few of us that just really gravitated to each other because there was a lot of compatibility. Michael is also a good friend of Nick Fortune's. And so, you know, we all kind of came together and saw how what each of us was doing complements the other. And there were a lot of other people that we spoke with, had the opportunity to share the stages with, and it wasn't necessarily the perfect fit. So you don't see them here on the channel. So Michael's a sponsor now of the VIP channel, and I'm just thrilled to be able to introduce the concept of his business to you guys, because I think for those of you that are excited about getting into real estate, you don't necessarily want to wait out the next correction. This could be a terrific opportunity. So today's video is going to be, what is his business and how might you see some potential and opportunity for yourselves in it? And then finally, we're going to do a second and possibly a third video this go around that discusses the ins and outs of the numbers. I want to get into sort of more of my skepticism surrounding this. You know, I want to try and poke some holes in it, play the devil's advocate on your behalf. So let's just go ahead and kind of dive in with you. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your business, and then
Sure.
Tell them how we met.
Yeah, Michael Mathe, like he said, I'm part of a company called Little Pink Houses of America. I'm a partner down there. It's in Jacksonville, Florida. So I flew in yesterday, and I'm joking with Matt. I left 75 degrees. I got here, and it was about 35 degrees last night. So a little bit of a shock. And then heading out to California tomorrow, so I'll get back to some warmer weather. So looking forward to that. It makes me chuckle. Matt and I kind of shared some stories last night about kind of being on the road together, and that was very enjoyable. And we did kind of have a connection with a couple other folks. So ecstatic to be here. I think I can deliver some great content to you guys, and really appreciate the opportunity here, Matt. So Little Pink Houses of America, we're a real estate investment firm, like I said, in Jacksonville. We're very niche specific. What we specialize in is what's called an executive lease purchase. So this is a great strategy for people that are maybe just trying to stick their toe in the water in real estate and don't want the risk, or kind of lifetime investors that are looking to diversify their portfolio. Big thing with market trends in real estate right now, like you said, there is, you know, kind of a little bit of people being leery about whether or not to invest or how to invest their money. Ours is really a no risk, no credit, no cash strategy that allows you to make significant revenue.
They all say that, right?
Per transaction. Yeah, I can prove it out.
This is where the skepticism is going to come in. I'm going to try and poke holes in this, but it sounds good so far.
Well, time is risk, so I would say it's not no risk.
Okay. I always saw a lot of crowds at your events, right? So when we were talking, we would do these day-long or multi-day events, and there would be a lot of various experts there teaching their subjects, and I would take note of some of the most popular, and Michael's was always one of those, as was Nick Fortune's too. And so I was always kind of curious what that appeal was, and I came to one of your events, and it really did strike me, and I didn't fully understand it, and I imagine some of you guys coming and seeing this for the first time on the channel, it might not click the first time too, and that's okay. But I've gained a lot of knowledge since then, and it is really uniquely special, isn't it?
It's very niche specific. What most investors are going after are a couple different things. Wholesaling, fix and flip, buy and hold. Those are the most common scenarios as far as investing strategies. There's lease options, which is more of a lower end model. You're dealing with lower price points, much smaller margins. What we have really done is carved out a niche where we're targeting executive level homes, so higher level homes, which means they're pretty houses. These are not distressed properties. They're not behind on payments. They're not in a position where they have to take some lowball cash offer. And we're dealing them with buyers that can afford a mortgage payment. Self-employed is a huge demographic for us. People that can afford a mortgage, but they just can't walk into the bank today. 70% of the population in America right now cannot get a traditional mortgage. That's a scary stat. So what we've done is carved out a niche where we really fill that void, both for buyer so that they can live in a pretty house today before they're absolutely mortgage ready, mortgage qualified, and for sellers that don't want to pay real estate commissions.
Right.
They don't want to contribute to buyer closing costs. They don't want to take an offer less than what they're asking because they don't have to. On average, these sellers make between 10 and 20% more if they're willing to wait even 12 months to get cashed out. So very different than the other strategies that are out there right now. So investors that really want to differentiate themselves from the pack, on average right now, it takes 130 wholesale offers to get one deal. The competition out there is so fierce.
Wow, yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
So really it sounds to me like the one thing I picked up on here that has you guys standing out in all of those areas of really when you're looking at your options for real estate investing, you're considering these various options, that high-end executive level, the luxury sweet spot is really what's separating you, right?
Absolutely.
What's the average purchase price in this model?
So it depends on the market. So in Jacksonville, really our sweet spot there is about 200 to 500,000.
And that's considered executives in Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville, that's executive level. Every market, what we do is identify the sweet spot. So we're looking at average home value there. We're going to go a little bit below that and a little bit above that. San Diego, for example, we target, I believe, $500,000 to $800,000. So we go in, we do a market analysis, really identify that sweet spot, and really that's our target demographic of sellers. So it's different in every market for obvious reasons.
Okay. And then you have boots on the ground that are actually doing this research?
We do, actually. Yeah, absolutely. So depending on their level of involvement with us, and I know that we'll talk about that maybe in another video, we do market analysis. We do lead generation in those markets. We help get the contracts in those markets. We've got specific contracts for all 50 states that are in line with real estate laws. You don't have to be a licensed agent or a licensed broker in order to do these. You're getting equitable interest in the title of the home. So we've got all kind of the checks and balances, all of the infrastructure in place for investors that want to get involved with something else, that want to separate themselves from the pack. It's a copy and paste regardless of the market you're in. The only thing that really changes is the sweet spot like we just talked about.
And so I'm assuming you guys have narrowed this to sort of your perfect demographic. Who from our audience is really going to be the most served from this option?
Yeah, so people that are trying to get into real estate investing and maybe don't have all the knowledge, they're a little bit leery of getting into it. They don't want to use their own cash. They don't want to go out and borrow private, hard, institutional money and really lay that on the table and stand to lose all of that. Seasoned and savvy investors that are looking to differentiate themselves. Everyone with a screwdriver and a hammer now is a bona fide flipper. So all that's done is inflated the market on those distressed properties, and you're competing with 40 or 50 other investors out there in your backyard that are trying to do the exact same thing. Well, if you don't buy the house right up front, you can do everything else right. It's a moot point though. So people that are really just trying to separate themselves and are not trying to take on capital risk. Now I said time is always a risk. Time is money. But when you're not laying cash on the table, you're never getting left holding the bag. And that's what's important about our strategy.
Okay, and that's what we're going to dive into. I want to get into the nuts and bolts on this stuff. I just really wanted to make an initial introduction so that anybody out there who maybe isn't a fit, are you able to identify who wouldn't be a fit? I mean, so far you've basically said anybody that wants to get into real estate or is already in real estate. So who would be considered somebody that you would think is truly should not even concern themselves with the next video we make?
Yeah, so when we hear people talk about, spend 5 hours a week and you're going to make $1 million, that's not this strategy. That's not who we are. We never represent that. Anything worth having in life takes time and effort. So if you can't put in the time, we would probably recommend not watching the next video.
How much time?
I think realistically, and just based on case studies, anywhere between 10 and 20 hours per week, you can do a deal or two a month. Our average profit margin per deal is about $15,000. Obviously, the higher the price points, the more money you can make, and we can dive into that when you see it appropriate. But even if you did a deal a month at our average profit margin, you can make a significant six-figure income. If you don't have 10 to 15 to 20 hours a week, just lower your expectations. If you did one a quarter,
at 15,000.
That's
exactly.
life-changing money for people.
Yeah, $5,000 a month.
Just depending on what people are looking to get out of it.
Okay.
If you say I'm going to spend 5 hours a week doing it, probably not your huckleberry.
Okay. Good to know. All right, guys. So we're going to get further into this on our next video. So make sure you stay tuned. This has been an episode of the VIP Financial Ed YouTube channel, where we're here to help you guys go further, faster financially. So make sure you're subscribed if you're not one already, and we'll see you on the next video. Until then, make it a great day and take care.